There are a couple of bed stories about Mother that I could tell. One of them is she did get a new bed. Peggy decided that Mother needed a new bed. And I had a discussion with Peggy. And Peggy said she needed a new bed because the bed that she had was too low to the floor. Mm-hmm. And if she had a higher bed, it would make it easier when she sat down to be up to the bed. So I disagreed with Peg, and we had a little discussion, and as usual, I lost. However, my discussion was she didn't need a new bed at all, and that she liked the bed that she had. And I pointed out that I thought it was good because the bed that Mother had a four-poster construction, so when she got out of bed, she could grab the poster at the end of the bed and hang on to it when she was walking around the bed. And I only knew this because that's what I like to do. However, I was overruled and Peg bought a new bed, and that was installed up there. And the first night of the new bed, it was not early in the night. I think Mother must have gotten up to go to the bathroom or something. It was the middle of the night. There was this crash. And I immediately thought, this did not sound good. So I got up and I ran upstairs, and there was Mother lying on the floor. And I said, "Mother, are you hurt?" And she said, "Yes." So I knew she was okay. And then I said, "What hurts?" And she said, "Everything." So I knew she was really okay at that point. I waited a few seconds, and I managed to get underneath Mother with my arms under her head, shoulders, and legs. And I thought, I'll just pick her up. She's not very heavy. And that was a huge mistake. Mother must have weighed, I guess she felt like she weighed 200 pounds when I went to pick her up. I'm guessing she weighed maybe 140. But but she was no help. It wasn't like, she did not reach up and grab me by the neck and help me to lift her up the way normally a woman does when she's lying on the floor and wants you to help her get up. No, she's just lying there. So I had to pick her up, and it was kind of like lifting a sack of weight that was just there. And getting her lifted up and into the bed took every ounce of strength that I could muster. And this happened to be back in the days when I was fairly strong, because we had a grain store and I was lifting 100-pound bags of grain all day long. But there was nothing compared to lifting Mother up. And I get Mother up and I put her in the bed. And I said, "Now, what hurts?" And Mother said, "Well, everything." So I said, "Okay, so we need a full body inspection." And Mother said, "Smart ass." So I laughed at her and I got her to smile a little bit. And I thought, okay, she's all right. And then I asked her what really hurt, and she said her head. So I checked her head, and she had a bump on the back of her head. And so I said, I know just what to do. I'm going to give you the exact same treatment that you have given to me many times over when I was a kid. I'm going to go down to get some ice cubes, and we'll slap them on the back of the head, and that'll fix you right up. And Mother said, "No." But I ignored the no, and I ran downstairs and I got some ice cubes. I put them in the towel, actually a hand towel, and I ran back up and I put them underneath Mother's neck and head and back. Actually the back of her neck and head. And 2 minutes after I had them there, Mother said, "Get these things out of here." And I said, What things?" She said, "That's that lumpy stuff you put under my head. It's killing me." So I took the ice out from under her head, and I adjusted her pillows, and I thought to myself, this is not going to be a good scene here with this, and we are going to have to get something for Mother that she can hang on to when she gets up out of bed, because what she had done was exactly what I feared. She'd reached for the bedpost that had been there for years and years and years and was no longer there, because it did not have any bedposts. And I'm not sure exactly how that ever resolved. I think it was resolved by the thump treatment that Mother developed when she used to keep a walker next to her bed, and if she needed any attention, she would pick the walker up an inch or two and then thump it on the floor. Thump, 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 thump. And that meant come for help. I need help. And we used to do that. And there's a wonderful companion story to this one. I was sleeping upstairs in what was Mother's bed, and Claire was with me, and we were there overnight taking care of Mother, and it was a full moon in August. It was beautiful, and we put Mother to bed downstairs in the bedroom. She had moved down to the new bedroom on the first floor there, and so she was in bed, and Claire and I were up in Mother's new bed upstairs, and I hear this thump, 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 thump at about 1 o'clock in the morning. So I get up and I go downstairs, and there's Mother, wide awake, and she says, "Time to get up. I want to get up." And I said, No, Mother, it's not time to get up. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. And she said, "No, it's not. It's morning, and I want to get up." And I said, "Well, it's 1 o'clock, and I just got to sleep a few minutes ago, and I know it's 1 o'clock. I can show you on the TV." She had a little TV in her bedroom. It was a black and white TV with about a 10-inch screen on it. And I turned it on, and of course a blank screen comes up, because back in those days that's what was on at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I said, "See, nothing's on TV." And she said, "No, you're tricking me." And so then I opened up the window shade and showed her that it was a full moon out, and she said, "Aha, there it is. The sun's coming up. It's morning. I want to get up. I'm ready to get up." So I convinced her to give it another try for another 10 to 20 minutes, and I went upstairs and went back to bed. But she was not happy with this at all, and about 10 to 20 minutes later, thump, 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 "I want to get up." So I went back down, and she's insisting she wants to get up. I'm insisting she's not getting up, and it's not time to get up. So we had a little who's going to win the insisting kind of conversation. And since Mother was not able to get up herself, I won. And I left her for another 10 to 20 minutes, and she was okay for maybe 10 to 20 minutes, and then there's thump, 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 and I go running downstairs. And by this time it is 4 o'clock in the morning, and and she insisted she wanted to get up, so I said, "Okay, we're getting up." So I got Mother up, and that was about an hour and a half to 2 hour situation. We're getting her up, giving her a bath, getting her clothes on her, getting her all cleaned up, and getting her cleaned up took a little while because she was incontinent, so there was more of a cleanup than just getting her up. And I get her up and get her clothes on her, and in the meantime, in between washing her and getting her clothes on, I'd run into the kitchen and put on coffee. So I had coffee all made, and we get to the kitchen. I get her in the wheelchair, take her into the kitchen, and I grab the coffee and I pour a cup of coffee and put it in front of her on the table. And at this point, the sun is just starting to come up. It's 4:30 to 5 o'clock. It's summertime. Sun is just starting to appear in the east in the kitchen windows. And Mother looks up and she says, "What's that?" And I said, "Mother, it's the sun coming up." And she looked at me and she said, Well, why am I up now? I shouldn't be up now. What's wrong?" And I said, "Nothing's wrong, Mother. I have your coffee made for you, and it's sitting here on the table in front of you just so you can enjoy the sunrise." And she said, "I don't want to see that. I want to go back to bed. It's way too early to get up." And so that's how the day started with Mother in that particular instance, and that's the follow-up to the bed and the poster.
One more story. Talk about the time you and Bill helped her upstairs.
Yes, right. This is wonderful. We used to have, often we would have an old-fashioned before dinner and with dinner. And Mother's old-fashions were real old-fashions, which meant she had this thimble. It was made out of stainless steel, which is still in the kitchen, I believe, there. and it held about 2 ounces, even though it said only a thimbleful. And we used to put 2 thimblefuls in a glass and make an old-fashioned, which was gloriously made, actually, with a slice of orange, a dash of sugar, a maraschino cherry, a few drops of Angostura bitters, and water, and bourbon. And
Mostly bourbon.
mostly bourbon, yes. And so we have this mostly bourbon old-fashioned, which was actually delicious. And we had one of those before dinner, and I don't know if we had another one, but we had at least one. And it was time for Mother after dinner, because it took all this time to have dinner and get her ready for bed. It was time for her to go upstairs to go to bed, because she was still, at this point, that was when she was in the 4-poster bed, she was 87 years old, and she was not walking very well. So getting her up to bed, Claire and I and Bill behind me,
Bill Rogers.
Dr. Bill, and we're all on the stairs behind Mother, and kind of pushing and urging her to go up the stairs, which was 1 step at a time, and then a pause, and then another step, and then a pause, and then another step and a pause. And it was a 5 to 10 minute ordeal to get up. And we're halfway up the stairs, and Bill, who had lost patience with this, said, Margaret, Mother's first name was only used by a few people, and Bill used to call her Margaret occasionally when he wasn't calling her Grammy. And he said, Margaret, get your fat ass up those stairs. He could not wait any longer. Well, this was so, caught us all by surprise, and it was so funny, we started laughing. And of course, then Mother started laughing. And laughing contracted her stomach, and it caused her to pass gas. And so she lets out this enormous fart. But the problem was, it wasn't the only fart. Because she was laughing, there was a series of farts. And then, every time she took another step, this caused her to contract again. And so, this also caused all of us to laugh so hard we couldn't stand. So we're hanging on to the banister there, trying not to fall downstairs behind Mother. And for probably an additional 5 to 10 minutes, we laughed our way up and farted our way up the stairs.
Can you open that for me, please?
And this is a true story, and I know a lot of people in the family remember it. It's one of our most beloved stories. Mother could be, she could laugh. Usually she laughed and had a great sense of humor when something happened to you, and especially if you got hurt or were in an embarrassing situation. And that was just one of the nasty tricks that you seemed to be able to play on me. There was the nose punch, which I think was a classic maneuver. When I was reading the Sunday paper, it was the comics, and I had the comics in front of me, and I was sitting on the couch reading that. Suddenly, this fist comes through the paper, and what you had done was you gotten back across the room, and you held your arm straight out, and you ran straight at me as hard as you could. So you ran right straight through the paper and directly into my nose. Blammo! And knocked me right over, right on the couch. And so at that point, I really wasn't able to get up and even hit you. And I remember saying, what did he do that for? And you said, that's to get even for the dirty trick that you played on me 2 weeks ago. And I remember I said, what dirty trick? And you said, I don't even remember what it was, but it was really bad.